All righty. Well, I hope you guys are doing fantastic this week and this beautiful Friday. And, last week I was not able to get on the call. We actually had a meeting with the new president of our company. But like I said, I'm super glad to be back with you guys today. And I want to go ahead and get started. Now, one of the things that I'm so passionate about is helping people to create the life of their dreams, the life that they want. And very few people, as a matter of fact, you have less than 1% of the population that can create the life they want because they don't know how to do it. And so what I teach is several techniques that I've learned throughout the years that I've also put into practice throughout the years and have made me very successful in every area of my life. And when I say every area of my life, I mean, first and foremost, my health, my connection with God. I guess my connection with God would be number one. My health, relationships with my family, with my wife, with friends, my finances, everything that, and more importantly, because I have purpose. So I have found the purpose in my life. And when you find the purpose, Mark Twain said this quote, he said the two most important days of a person's life is the day they're born, and the second one is the day they realize why they were born. And so I'm going to tell you right now, if you're wondering, why was I born? What am I here to do? I'm going to tell you right now what you're here to do. It's very simple. And we were all born with this purpose, and this is the most fulfilling purpose that you will ever have, and that is to make this world better. Well, one, how do I do that? By helping to solve problems. And you're like, what do you mean helping to solve problems? I'm supposed to find problems? No, just live your life, and you're going to find ways in this world where you're going to be able to solve problems, to help. The company that in one of the businesses I have, the company I represent, Zervita, we're helping not only by providing a great product that helps people in their health, but also that the byproduct of buying that product, selling that product, taking that product is that we feed 3 people, 3 kids in Africa. And so there's right there, you're solving a lot of problems. And so now you're like, well, I really want to have this. I really want to have that. Well, that's great. See, because what happens is the more you help, the more you're given. Okay, you're a good steward, you're given more. Okay, and so by helping more, the universe will bless you, and with the blessings that you have, you'll be able to have the lifestyle that you want. Okay, now, why is it that a lot of people can't manifest their dreams? First of all, they don't know what their purpose are. They're running around trying to accomplish things to get things, but they don't really know if those things are going to actually fulfill them. What they want to do is they just want to feel like they're successful, like their life had meaning. But at the end of the day, the life that you have, the meaning that you're going to have at the last breath that you take, and after that and you're gone, the only thing you're going to be remembered is for how many people you helped make this life better for. That's it, guys. And so understanding that, let's backtrack now and say, okay, how do I use the methods that Juan is teaching, which are not my methods. These are methods from many, many mentors, and these are truths that have existed since time has existed. It's just discovering them. People have discovered them along the way. And as they've discovered them along the way, they've taught them in different ways, and we've been able to learn them. One of the methods that I really, I've had a culmination up to now of learning different methods that have taken me one step forward, and the one that I've been working with the last 2 years is the Silva Mind Control Method, which you guys can look it up. YouTube has free books on there. Then you can get them through audio, and you can start the program yourself. But let's go ahead and explain it once again, because, I mean, the only way we learn is by repetition. And So somebody may go, oh, he's going to say that again. Yes, we're going to say this again, and we'll say it a million times, guys, because repetition is how we learn, okay, until it becomes a part of you. So the alpha state of mind. What is the alpha state of mind? So the alpha state of mind is a state of mind. If you want to know what it feels like, it's like when you first wake up and you're still groggy and you still have a sleep, but you're conscious. You know you're here on, you know you're awake. If your spouse is next to you, you can feel them, and your kids come in, you know they're there. So you have 1 foot in the spirit world and 1 foot in the material world. And so what that is the alpha state of mind. Your brain waves are going 10 cycles per second at that point, okay? Now, there are other states of mind. So, but if you lower your brain waves, you will be in theta. So what is theta? Theta is when you're asleep. So when you're asleep and you're dreaming, but you're not in a very deep sleep. So a very deep sleep, then you would go into delta. Okay, delta is where a dream seems like it's almost a reality. So it's like the movie Inception, where you're in a dream inside of a dream. And then now if you go up the scale, so from delta, a dream within a dream where the dream world feels real, then theta, where you're just dreaming, you're just like a regular, you're not conscious anymore, but you're not completely so deep in your sleep. And then you have theta, that's theta. Then you have alpha, which is where you're kind of awake but still groggy, still waking up. Then after that, you have beta. Okay, beta is where you're up and about, you're fully awake, you're conscious, and you're making decisions for your day. And then you have gamma on top of that, and that's like where the fight or flight response, where maybe something you're driving and it's icy roads and you're really being careful. You got to really focus on the roads, or something's going on that there is some stress in your life you have to respond to. Then that's called gamma. So that's very, very fast brainwaves. Okay, so where we manifest, where we bring things into reality, is if we can make decisions in alpha, and then alpha state of mind, and then execute in beta. That is how you will create. You will bring your thoughts into manifestation. Okay. Now, so what's more important? Is it doing things, or is it thinking about the things? Well, both of them are super important. But here's the thing. It's which one of those you do in what state of mind. If you're thinking and acting in beta, that is when you look at a problem, you see all the difficulties, you see everything, all the obstacles, and you're trying to overcome all those obstacles in the physical world. It's like you create a building out of brick, and then you realize that it's not the size, not the color brick that you want. So now what do you got to do? You got to tear it down. You got to create it again. That's much more difficult, much more work, okay? But where you should be making your decisions and thinkings is in alpha state. And in that state of mind, you're in the spiritual side. Everything you do there is going to manifest exponentially. And I'm going to give you a study that they did, and I'm going to explain to you what I'm talking about. So everything you do in alpha state, everything you think of is going to exponentially grow in the material world. What I mean by that is you're going to see the building that you're going to build, that brick building, exactly how you want it. You build it in your alpha state of mind, you see it, and then you go, no, that's not going to work. I don't like that. You tear it down in your mind, rebuild it, build it no, that's not going to work. You rebuild until it's a perfection there. And then you create it in the material world, which is you make the decisions to create it, to build it in your beta state of mind. Those are your most successful people. Your Steve Jobs, your Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, great composers, Beethoven, Mozart, all of those people. And if you also want to look at it from a right and left side of the brain, so the left side of the brain is beta. That's the analytical mind. That's the material world mind. And then your right brain is your alpha state of mind. It's your artistic, your creative. So what you want to do is you want to use both sides. When you're working inside of thinking and solving problems in alpha state of mind, and then you're executing in beta, what you're doing is you are using, you ever heard of that? We only use 5% of our brain. We only use 10% of our brain. Well, yeah, if you live in beta, you do. But when you use the methods that I'm teaching you, you're using all of your brain. There's no I'm using 5% of my brain. I'm using 100% of my brain. I'm using both sides of my brain at the same time, and I'm creating wonderful things. And that's why you will grow exponentially in every area of your life. Now, another thing I want to take a step back and mention is if you want more out of life, you have to become more. And this is no different. You still have to become more. You have to work on this. This is just going to happen. Is it easy stuff to do? Absolutely. I think it's so easy. People think it's too easy to work. Try it. Try it, and if it doesn't work for you, then don't do it anymore. But if it doesn't work for you, you'd be the only person that I've ever heard of, known of, that actually it never worked for. This is the only method that has been 100% successful with 100% of the people that actually do it. Now, if you just hear this call and you don't do anything and say, oh, that stuff doesn't work, yeah, it won't work because you have to become more to be more and to have more and to be given the responsibility of more. Why would you be given more if you can't handle, or we can't handle? If we can't handle more, then why would we be given more? No, we have to be more, become more. That's my life. Becoming more, being better, knowing that God has entrusted me with this power so that I can come to this world and help more people. Now, I'm almost out of time, but I want to talk about this study, how this works. And I'll give you an example in real life, in my life. So all of my family does this. Some do it more than others. Some of my kids are younger. They don't do it as like I'd like them to. And some do because they've had issues in their life. They want to overcome them. So one of those is my son. But first of all, I'm going to give you this study. Please don't get off the line. I know I'm going to be done in about a minute, but I want you to listen to the study because what I'm trying to do is I want you to understand that the only way this works is if you believe it for a millisecond and try it. And then through your success, you will believe more and do more and be more and become more and help more. And I will be a part of a world that you're in, that you're helping me and others to make it more. But here's a study. So this study was done, I don't know, one of the big colleges. Let's say Harvard, Yale. I don't remember what school, but it's true, and you can look it up. So what they did was they took basketball players, and they put them in 3 groups. One of the groups they put them in, they were practicing physically. Physically, every day they were practicing for an hour. The other group was basically just sitting on the bench, doing nothing for that hour, watching people practice. That's all they did. Then the third group, they sat them in a room, and they told them to close their eyes, and they wanted them to imagine they were practicing. So everything they did in practice, they wanted them to imagine. Take shots, they miss them, then keep seeing them make the shots, and take the shots in your mind. Now, after a month, they tested, and this was for free throws, so they were taking free throws. And after a month, they tested each one, and the group that didn't practice, didn't do anything, they got the lowest amount of free throws. And then the group that physically did it, they got a certain amount of free throws made. And then the group that just sat, closed their eyes, and imagined making those free throws, they did the exact percentage of free throws as the ones that physically did the free throws, because it is taking your alpha state of mind and manifesting into reality. Now, to finish off, I'll give you an example of my son. My son plays soccer. He's going to go to a soccer camp in Madrid he was invited to. He was invited to this camp last year, but he was coming off of being sick for almost 4 years. He had an infection in his stomach. He lost about 25 to 30 pounds. He was half the boy that he was before this infection in his stomach, and he couldn't play. He couldn't do anything for 4 years. But for 4 years, all we did was we visualized him being better. And anything that came up that manifested for us to take him to go get medicine, to go see his doctor, we did. And eventually he got healed. But all this time, all we did was watch games. I said, play FIFA. He liked playing FIFA on his phone. I said, play FIFA and imagine that's you making those awesome goals and blah, doing everything that you're doing in that video game. Pretend it's you. And we would sit and we would pray and meditate on him being an amazing soccer player once again, because he was a shell of what he was before. I take him to play with friends. I say, oh, my son was invited to Barcelona, and now he's recuperating. He couldn't play. They're like, man, this guy's just saying his son's great, but his son's not good at all. And my son was just rehabbing, getting better. And when he finally got rid of that infection, we put him on a nutritional plan to gain his weight. He gained his weight back, his 25 pounds. But here's the thing. Before that, when he was still sick, he went to a camp last year for Madrid. And even though he wasn't the best that he was good enough to be selected to go to Spain the following year, which is this year. So he got selected. He's like, Dad, I got to train. I said, okay. So we went into Alpha State of Mind and said, how can we get this kid trained, game physically able to play in this game, in these games that are coming up that are going to be playing every single day. So in our Alpha State, I was directed to go to this one place that he'd had his camp for Barcelona about 5 years ago. It's called Foro. It's a soccer club, and they have pickup games every single day. I said, well, what we're going to do is I'm going to train you, and then you're going to go there and play pickup games every other day, and you're going to start getting informed. So he said, yeah, let's do it. And all we want to do is we want you to be able to compete out there in Madrid. We just want you to hang in there. You don't have to be great. Just hang in there so it's a great experience for you. So remember, what has he been doing these 4 years? He hasn't physically been playing. All he's been doing is mentally playing in his mind. So we go in there the first game, and it's a D+. He's a D+. He's in there. He's out of it. The guys are yelling at him. These are 6-on-6, 8-on-8, 5-on-5 games. These are good players, and he's out there just like, he didn't do the best. He scored a few goals, but he didn't do the best. That's game number 1. Then skip a day, game number 2. We go on there, playing a little better. Then we skip a game, go to game number 3. He's playing a lot better. Skip a day, going to 4. He's running through these guys. Number 5, number 6, number 7. We've gone to 7 games, and yesterday he scored 10 goals, dominated on the field, was confusing the defenses, and if you saw him play, he was the best player on that field with guys that have been playing every day for years, and he hasn't been playing physically for 4 years, but he's been playing mentally. And we still got 6 more games before he goes to Europe, and he's going to be in the top shape of his life. He's going to be playing like the striker he's always been. And all of this came because we use the power that we have within. And all of us have this power, guys. This is a few examples of my life. I use my life as an example, not to boast, because there's a lot. I've told you when I overcome sickness with this. It's for you to know that I'm no better than you. And you can do this too. And if you're struggling in your life, you can go back and listen to these calls, and your life will get better if you use these techniques. They're easy. They're simple. Anybody can do them. You don't even have to be great at doing them. You just got to do them, guys, and your life will be better. And my hope for you is that you do them. And my hope for all of us is that this world will be a better world because we are making it a better world. And the only way we'll do it, guys, is if we become more and we be more. And the only way we can become more and be more is if we use these techniques and use the power that God gave us so that we can have that life that we've always wanted. Guys, I love you. I'm sorry I took a few more minutes of your time, but I will see you next Friday, and we will see you. I always used to like to end my calls to see you in the beaches of the world. Love you guys. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the family.